coming up tonight on KPBS Evening Edition. Up and up and up it goes. The price of gas breaks a county record. We'll tell you what's behind the spike.
And the city of San Diego is digging its feet in the sand over pension reform. City leaders refusing to attend a state labor relations meeting tomorrow.
KPBS Evening Edition starts now. Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Joanne Ferrian.
I'm Dwayne Brown.
For the second time in as many days, an attempt to keep pension reform off the San Diego ballot has been rejected by a judge. The judge rejected a lawsuit claiming the city's measure was actually a revision of the city charter rather than an amendment to it. State law says charters cannot be revised through citizen initiatives. The pension reform measure was the result of a petition drive. Just yesterday, another judge refused a state board's request to take the issue off the June ballot. But the legal wrangling isn't over yet. I'll be talking with City Attorney Jan Goldsmith about it at the roundtable a little later.
Heroin abuse is on the rise in San Diego County. Health officials say they're seeing a lot more heroin addicts at their treatment centers. The biggest increase is among people between the ages of 18 and 25, where heroin use jumped more than 200%. The county medical examiner says there have been more heroin-related deaths in the past few years. The County Health and Human Services Agency says there has been a decrease in other drugs. They say the high cost of OxyContin might be driving abusers to heroin because it's cheaper.
California's community colleges are bracing for another big budget hit. The chancellor of the community college system says there could be an additional $149 million deficit this year because property tax revenues were lower than expected and because more students were asking for fee waivers. The San Diego Community College District says it planned for this possibility and set aside reserve funds just in case. Instructors at California state universities will vote whether to stage rolling two-day strikes. They say there's been a lack of progress in contract talks. The strike authorization vote will be taken in April. A spokeswoman for the CSU says the move is premature because mediation is still underway.
A San Diego solar company is working directly with roofers to sell and install its one-of-a-kind rooftop system. It also plans to hire up to 100 people this year to help with the increased workload. A family in Rancho Penasquitos was one of the first to take advantage of the company's solar lease program.
With a simple flip of a switch, San Diego's mayor turned on the power of the sun at the Burgage home.
A lot of the solar panels, we really didn't like the way they looked, but we were getting a new roof, and this just seemed like it's integrated into the roof in a way that is not objectionable.
This is actually the first rooftop of its kind in the country.
We started with pole beams here.
Her husband Tom hopes the new solar panels cut the cost of air conditioning this summer so he can spend more on water for his garden to feed the needy.
Well, this is a backyard garden project that's in the Penasquitos area where people raise vegetables in their backyard. And the YMCA is a collection point for people that are less fortunate and can't afford fresh vegetables.
He says the solar company's lease program makes getting a new roof a no-lose situation.
With the options that they have available now and the savings that it will generate, it's not a bad decision.
Homeowners on average could save up to 20% on their monthly bill with this system.
One Roof Energy CEO says his company's mission is to provide simple, affordable solar that people can trust. He says the challenge is getting more homeowners interested. His company will hire about 100 people to fill sales, customer service, and other key areas this year.
We're in the process of developing a active retired military program for solar. Again, it's the issue of how do you get more solar on the rooftops.
You saw Mayor Jerry Sanders there. He says San Diego already has the highest residential solar use in the country. He says we are quickly becoming a hub for innovations in renewable energy as well. Our next guest says the days of cheap gas may be gone forever. He joins Joanne at the roundtable to explain.
If you filled up your gas tank in the past few days, you probably got a bit of a shock. According to FuelTracker.com, San Diego's gas prices are the highest on record for any February in county history. Joining me to talk about why prices have escalated is Charles Langley, manager of the Utility Consumers Action Network Gasoline Project. UCAN is a San Diego-based watchdog group. Thank you for being here, Charles.
Thank you.
So we know prices have gone up by as much as 20 cents a gallon in the past week. What are we paying right now in San Diego County, and how do we compare with the rest of California?
Well, $4.11 a gallon. It's up 3 cents in the last 24 hours, which is normally, we see that type of movement in a week. So that's overnight. And we're probably right now we're at parity with LA. LA is paying $4.11 a gallon and a little bit less than San Francisco.
Why? Why is this happening now?
Well, this is the time of year when refineries begin shutting down and they retool to burn a cleaner formulation of gasoline to comply with federal and state pollution control laws. And this is the time of year when prices tend to start to creep up. And last week we saw 2 refineries shut down for planned maintenance. When they do this, this creates a shortage on the spot market for surplus fuel. And that means that other stations, the most competitive stations in the market, which are the unbranded guys, can't get their fuel at a cheap price. They're eliminated from the market, and the price for all the other players goes up, and the refineries start raising their prices. It's very profitable for the refineries. They have to shut down briefly. That's unprofitable for that specific refinery, but on the whole, this season tends to be tremendously profitable because they can ratchet prices up by creating shortages.
So this season, yet I started off by saying this is the highest price in February on record. Why more so this time of year than past years?
Well, part of it is we're going into the year with very high oil prices, and part of it is that we've seen this sudden, incredible price spike. So oil is $10 more a barrel than it was this time last year. Actually, it might be 15. It moved up another 5 yesterday. And that's contributing. That's worth a few pennies. But primarily, the real problem is we don't have a competitive refining environment and retail distribution network in California. And as long as we have a handful of refineries with very little competition, we'll see this kind of restriction. It doesn't matter how cheap oil is, how big the bucket is, they still are able to game the market and drive up profits for themselves and pass on the pain to consumers.
Are we seeing more exports too out of California from these refineries?
We are. This is something new in the last couple of years. They've been producing too much fuel. Too much fuel is unprofitable, so they're exporting 55,000 barrels a day out of this state. And it's going to places like South America, Nevada, other states.
Do you think that we could see gas at $5 a gallon?
I think it's possible. I think we'd have to see a super spike in the price of oil. A lot of analysts are predicting that. I think they're looking into a crystal ball that's very, very murky.
There are some people who will argue we don't pay enough for gas, that we have this reliance on gas, we drive our cars too much, especially in California. Mm-hmm. You go to Europe, you go to other countries, Canada, gas is a lot more expensive. So maybe we're just only approaching what we ought to be paying.
Well, in those countries, gasoline is taxed, and it's taxed at a much, much higher level. We pay about 60 cents a gallon right now on our gasoline for taxes, and it's supposed to go to road construction and things like that. In Europe, that might be $3 or $4 a gallon. So, yeah, it's a huge difference, and it's a political decision.
Is there anything that people can do? So they can be angry, but the bottom line is they've got to put gas in their vehicle. Is there anything they can do about this?
I think what people need to understand is no matter how much oil we start extracting nationally, it's going to be very expensive to get that oil domestically. It's somewhere in the order of $50 to $75 a barrel just to get it out of the ground. They're extracting it from shale, from tar sands, and they've got to ship it through pipelines that don't even exist yet. It's expensive stuff. You compare that to Middle Eastern oil, it costs maybe $12 a barrel to get it out of the ground. So this is the end of cheap oil. Yes, there's a lot of oil in the ground, but that doesn't mean it's going to be cheap, and we're not going to see $2 a gallon anytime soon, if ever, as some politicians have promised. It's almost impossible.
Despite Newton? Okay.
Yes, he's pretty. I mean, right now, the price of the oil in a gallon of gasoline is $2.20 a gallon.
Okay. Charles Langley, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
We'll talk about pension reform with City Attorney Jan Goldsmith in just a moment. And later, the KPBS Fronteras team gives us a look at their road trip down to Baja. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
Tonight on KPBS at 8, gain new insights into the lives of whales and dolphins in a visually powerful, engaging, and entertaining documentary on nature. Then at 11, a pod of 60 bottlenose dolphins in New Zealand provides a unique observation opportunity for scientists on Wild. And at midnight, acclaimed broadcast journalist Charlie Rose engages America's best thinkers. That's all tonight on KPBS.
Hi, I'm Elsa Sevilla. If you find yourself hearing about a great program on KPBS after it's already aired, we have a solution. Get notified about your favorite TV programs on KPBS before they air by subscribing to the TV Highlights email alert. This daily email will feature the best programs coming up right here on KPBS TV, so you can make a date to tune in or plan to record it. It's easy to register. Just go to kpbs.org/alerts.
KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Irwin Jacobs and by
California Governor Jerry Brown is getting a challenge from Republican lawmakers over pension reform. They want him to get Democratic support for pension reforms he introduced last year. It includes a 401k plan for new state workers, as well as an increase in retirement age and more contributions from workers. GOP leaders in the state legislature have introduced bills identical to the governor's proposal. The issue of pension reform is in for a long and probably costly battle here in San Diego. Joanne speaks with the city attorney at the roundtable.
San Diego City Attorney scored a victory in court yesterday when a judge refused to remove the pension reform initiative from the June ballot. As we've been reporting for the past couple of weeks, union leaders say the reform measure violates labor laws. Joining me to talk about what's next for pension reform is City Attorney Jan Goldsmith. Thank you for being here.
Nice to be with you.
Now, let's be clear on this ruling. Now, the judge's decision doesn't mean that he agrees or disagrees with the labor union's assertions. It just means that he didn't think there was a compelling reason to keep this initiative off the ballot.
That's correct. He didn't get to the merits.
So let's then talk about the union's assertion that the city didn't end run around negotiations, and rather than negotiate with unions, they're putting this measure to the public. Well,
the measure is an initiative that was put on the ballot by 116,000 registered voters who signed a petition. It's a constitutional right in this state to put an initiative on the ballot. The city council is the only other body that could put such an initiative or proposition on the ballot, and they never voted on that, and I doubt a majority of them would even support it. This is not their proposal, but it comes out of a citizens' initiative that is it's a constitutional right in our state.
But we do know that this is a fight that's going to continue. Despite this ruling, this is only the beginning of a long court battle. We know, for example, tomorrow. Now, the Public Employees Relations Board is going to look at this perceived violation, start hearings tomorrow. Will you be at those hearings tomorrow?
Well, the PERB is a state agency that is our adversary. They have teamed up with the labor unions.
Well, but just so the people at home know, I mean, they are a state quasi-judicial agency.
No, they are actually, they have a different function in this case, in that they are actually claiming that the city has an obligation to negotiate a citizens' initiative. And
well,
even
I
though
think what they're claiming, though, in their decision was that the mayor actually did, by virtue of his actions, support this initiative and do an end run around the process.
Yeah. Mayors support initiatives, so do governors. The governor right now is supporting a citizens' initiative to increase taxes. That's exactly, in fact, the original initiative process was started by Governor Hiram Johnson, a politician. That's what you do. You go directly to the people. Now, this is not Jerry Sanders' initiative. It's 116,000 people who filed a petition. They have the constitutional right, as does the mayor. As I pointed out, for the city, the only ones under the Constitution who can put a proposition on the ballot is the city council, not the mayor. He doesn't have a vote on it.
So will you be at the hearings tomorrow?
We're going to we're happy to negotiate. No, no one's going up there from what I understand.
No one from the city?
No one from either Labor or the city. We cannot negotiate a change in a citizens' initiative. Can you imagine that? 116,000 people. Let me finish. 116,000 people signed a petition. It's their right under the California Constitution. They put the petition and they say, now put it on the ballot. Under the Constitution, the city has an obligation to put it on the ballot. The city cannot change it. We can't just sit down there and have our city council negotiate with the labor unions and say, let's keep this in, let's take this out. That would violate the Constitution and we get sued by the proponents. Now, what we can do, and which I've said for over a year, and we actually made an effort, is what we can, the city can and has been willing to negotiate pension changes. We made an opening offer to negotiate with unanimous consent, unanimous of the city council and the mayor, which I communicated to all the labor unions, and we did it publicly, and we said, we'd like to negotiate pension changes, and we put on the table a bunch of different issues. This was a year ago.
I did receive a copy of your letter, but I want to get back to,
that.
so PERB is, though, a state agency, and they've asked both sides to come together. And we will check with the union to find out if they're going to be there, but nobody from the city is going to be at this hearing.
Joanne, we cannot negotiate changes in the initiative. PERB may be a state agency.
It's not about negotiating changes in the initiative. Isn't it about just negotiating at all?
No. PERB may be a state agency, but we're also a local government. And PERB has sued the city and has taken sides in this case, and they're trying to create new law. Never in the history of this state has a city, county, or anybody been required to negotiate a citizens' initiative with anybody, including the legislature or labor unions. It's the people's right. I can't interfere with that. What I will do, and I'm still authorized by the city council and mayor, I'll be happy to talk pension reform or change. I mean, and the city will negotiate that, but we can't change a citizens' initiative under the Constitution. We'd be violating the Constitution. You know, so we can't do that.
And respecting the point you're making that 116,000 people signed this initiative, were they given all of the information when this initiative was presented to them? For example, that the city must have known this would face legal action. This is going to go on for some time. This is only the beginning of a legal battle, presumably that will cost taxpayers money. Were those people given this information that this is perhaps is not the panacea that, you know, people claimed it to be, that whether you're on the side of pension reform or not, that using this initiative to solve all of the problems will still face a number of court challenges going, you know, perhaps years down the road?
You know, I don't know what they were told. I'm not going to speak for the proponents, but I will tell you that I agree it's better to do it by negotiation. That's why I led that effort in January of 2011, and we tried. We brought a mediator down. There wasn't interest on the part of the labor unions. We got all 6 in one room with a mediator. We tried. And I'm not throwing any barbs at them. They just weren't ready. If they want to negotiate, that's a good thing. I think it's always better to try to negotiate. And will we have litigation? We already have litigation. My job right now is to defend the city. We don't have an obligation or even the right to negotiate changes in the citizens' initiative.
We're going to have to leave it there.
I'm not going to defend the initiative, though. That's the proponents.
Okay, we're out of time. Jan Goldsmith, thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next News Hour, a preview of Arizona's Republican primary, plus Supreme Court arguments over lying about military honors. That's Wednesday on the PBS News Hour.
In the last year, KPBS News has been honored with nearly 3 dozen awards. I'm extremely proud of these honors, and I thank you for your support as we continue to serve our local communities with award-winning news coverage in the years to come.
Next time on Frontline, inside the worst nuclear disaster of the century. Told by the people who were there. For the first time, the whole story. Inside Japan's nuclear meltdown, a Frontline investigation.
Tuesday at 10 on KPBS.
The KPBS Fronteras team just got back this week from a 9-day road trip into Baja, California. Joanne recently talked with them about the trip and what they discovered.
Fronteras reporters Jill Replogle and Jose Luis Jimenez have just come back from a 9-day reporting trip in the Baja California Peninsula. Jill will be producing 3 stories from the trip, and Jose wrote a blog along the way. And they're here with us today to tell us a little bit about their trip. Thank you both for being here. Jose, I want to begin with you. So what was your overall impression of this region?
Well, first of all, we started off in San Diego and made our way all the way down about 3/4 of the way to the peninsula to the surfing village or fishing village of San Juanico, depending on who you are. I traveled extensively between Tijuana and Ensenada, so I knew that region well, really not south of Ensenada. And especially in Baja California Sur, which is the second state on the peninsula, it is very desolate. There's hardly any development. Kind of reminds me of what California must have looked like hundreds of years ago. I was also impressed by the Sea of Cortez. It is beautiful, it is blue, it is bright, it is gorgeous. I definitely want to go back there. And I also was impressed by the amount of agriculture that is on the peninsula, especially on the southern end, because the southern end is very dry and there's not a lot of water, but there's still a lot of agricultural production going on down there. So those are kind of my impressions at the top.
And you met a lot of people along the way. Tell us a little bit about the people you met.
Yes, along the way, we obviously spent a lot of times in hotels and in restaurants. We met a lot of waiters. We obviously walking around with a camera. People come up to you, so we met a lot of locals. The overall impression is, I think Jill mentioned this in kind of some of our chats, is people are familiar with tourists down there. Even in the most smallest town, you see signs in English. People are kind of expecting tourists to come in, so they tend to cater to them.
Now, Jill, you're going to be bringing some stories to us about your travels, about the people you met. Tell us about the first one you're working on.
The first one I'm working on is, as we know, there's the real estate bust also affected Mexico greatly. There were a lot of American investors who were hoping to buy their little piece of paradise on the coast. And as the real estate market died and just really ground to a halt, environmentalists are sort of breathing a sigh of relief, and they've been able to preserve some really sensitive coastal lands. So we interviewed a man named Saúl Alarcón. He's the executive director of Terra Peninsular, which is an environmental organization there. And he told us about an area south of Ensenada that they're working with the federal government to protect. And we'll hear from him.
One of the most important sites that we work in is San Quintín Bay. It's one of the last wetlands in North America with, I would say, 80–90% of the habitat is still in good shape, and is one of the safe havens for migratory birds in North America.
Wow, it's a beautiful area. Now, also, you traveled to a popular surf town as well that's going through some development issues. What did you learn there?
Yeah, so as Jose mentioned, it's called San Juanico. The surf bay is called Scorpion Bay. That's how most surfers in Southern California probably know it. It's nearly 1,000 miles down the peninsula. It's pretty remote. And I just want to play this one clip of a man that we interviewed there who's been camping there since the 70s. He goes by Lee of the Sea, and this is why this place is so popular.
The place, as far as I'm concerned, is when it's on, it's as good a wave as there is in the world.
And we will be learning more about him as well in the days ahead. Now, Jill, you have a third story, and this one's about wine. Tell us more.
Yeah, the Guadalupe Valley, which is near Ensenada, has really been booming with wineries for the last 15–20 years or so. But they're small scale, and they've mostly been sort of experimenting and kind of, learning as they go. And now there's sort of a real effort to professionalize the wine industry. We interviewed a man named Dr. Victor Torres, and he has a PhD in winemaking from the University of Bordeaux. He teaches at the university in Baja, California, in Ensenada, at the winemaking school. And so we're looking at how they're trying to professionalize and what are some of the challenges that they face.
Great, Jill and Jose. We look forward to seeing your stories. And Jose, if people want to catch up on your blog, where can they see it?
Yeah, it's on our website, fronterasdesk.org/Baja Trip.
Great. Thank you both for being here. Earlier in this newscast, you heard San Diego City Attorney Jan Goldsmith say neither a representative from the city nor the union would be attending tomorrow's conference with the State Labor Relations Board regarding pension reform. We contacted the head of the city's largest union, and he tells us that is not true. The union has always intended to be there, but now the Public Employment Relations Board has canceled the meeting because the city refuses to attend. And now for some follow-up comments to my interview yesterday with a spokesperson from San Diego Gas and Electric regarding the 2007 wildfires. The power company wants to pass on costs of fire damages to customers. Fred Haas writes, "We had a bad fire. Our electric company had a hand in causing the fire. They've exhausted their insurance. They need to remain viable to keep giving us juice. I do not see the problem with us, the customers, paying. We are the logical people to pay to help." And Marigold Hernley says, "It's very simple. If we ratepayers are going to share the costs, then we share the profits. I can't afford to pay anymore, not one dime more. I'm struggling to buy food and medicine and gas now. We older citizens are not afraid. It's time all our voices are heard." Well, Marigold also wanted to know how to make her voice heard. Here is the Public Utilities Commission website. You can scroll down that page and click on Public Advisor. That page will tell you how to submit a public comment to the PUC. And if you want to add your comments to this discussion, you can follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, or just email me, jfarian@kpbs.org. And now let's go back to the news desk where Dwayne has a recap of tonight's top stories.
Well, more about pension reform. A second effort to take it off the San Diego ballot has failed. Today, a judge rejected a lawsuit claiming the initiative was an illegal attempt to revise the city charter. San Diego County health officials say they've seen a huge increase in the number of heroin users coming to treatment clinics. The largest increase has been among young adults between 18 and 25. Instructors at Cal State universities will vote this spring on whether to stage rolling strikes at all CSU campuses. Union leaders say contract talks have stalled, while CSU says mediation is still ongoing. You can watch and comment on any of the stories you saw tonight on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks so much for joining us. You have a great night. We leave you with a look at the forecast.